Hey guys, it's FSC Mario here, and today's video is going to be a bit of a longer one because I'm going to be talking in depth about basically about All About Us Online guides, like about the game, each area. Just I want to go in depth to the game in the classes, meta builds, just things that would help new players and existing players and how they could possibly progress further. So this is taken directly from my guide I've made. I've made a written version of a guide towards All About Us Online. It's a little bit outdated, but I'll be filling in the gaps in this video. So if you would like to have a written version about listening, or you can listen and read, I'll put the link in the description to the guide. So about what All About Us Online is. All About Us Online is a idle RPG battle game, which is basically a 5v5 of either player versus player or player versus environment. You have mercenaries which fight other mercenaries or monsters, which is pretty much the entire encompassing point of the game so far. It's an automatic battle simulator game, and you can see your characters here in the Army to Heroes tab. It will show various statistics of your character. It will show their stats, their abilities, or if you would like to do an easier way, you go to community, you click the little emblem here, and then I prefer to go to full view and it shows your entire profile. So this is just a much easier way to display your profile if you ever want to. I would like to go on to talk about arena. So the arena is one of the main aspects of the game. This is one of the areas in which you will be pretty much using the most, if not all the time, in my opinion at least. Pretty much what I think is only really useful for once you've finished your dungeons or you've finished doing other things. And overall, I don't think you should focus on it as much as you should in dungeons and in upgrading your mercenaries. It's an the arena is going to be the area that you idle the most. You shouldn't be idling your dungeons because that's what you're actively going to play, and this is genuinely going to be the area that you farm gold the most, or most of the time at least. So I would suggest that you leave your game on overnight, and you will probably wake up to thousands, millions, even billions if you get up to my level and my point in the game. So going on to dungeons now. Dungeons are, of course, they are the same, but at the same time they're a little bit different in comparison to Arena because it's a player versus environment situation. The dungeons used to be a prime area in which you could get experience relatively easily, but right now it's not as good as you might think. So to get to the 5 dungeons, there's Soft River Village, sorry, Eastwatch, Herbington, Getsu City, and up here, Jiaotang Temple. These are the 5 existing dungeons in the game right now. So I'll just quickly do a little demonstration, I guess. This is the stage that a lot of us players are stuck at right now. I'm using the wrong skills to progress in this area, but that is completely fine. More dungeons are going to come and join eventually, but that's open to interpretation. We don't actually know when they will come. All we know is that eventually there are going to be more dungeons. So that so far is a quick brief run through of what the arena dungeons are about. What I would like to go into now is what guilds are for. So right now there's not a lot for guilds. There's speculation that there's going to be a conquest which will involve guilds, which is this option here, which is coming soon. But right now guilds are pretty much just social groups, to be honest. Eventually they will have more of a purpose, but they're only bragging rights for now. So there really isn't a lot to demonstrate about what guilds are. If you're a guild leader, you can change the name of it, you can change certain aspects of it. that's really all there is to them right now. I can't really go super into depth with them, which is for good or bad. The next area I'd like to talk about is chests. So, chest is are things you get from either dungeons or from paying. So, in every 5 dungeons you fight, so at stage 235 on to 240, I would get a shadow chest because it's very late in the game. However, in earlier stages, let's say stage, I don't know, maybe like 120 here, I would get a frozen chest at like 70 or 60, a Gaia chest, an earlier iron, maybe even wooden for the first 5. But I don't know the exact figures. I can't give that's just a rough estimate in my opinion. But what is indicated is in these chests is what kind of items you'll get. So as you can see, shadow chest is like really bright, vibrant, which is where you can get even ultimate items, which is the best item tier you can get. And then the lower one, the wooden one, is just kind of crappy and grey. So there's no real reason for users to buy chests at the top unless you're trying to go for new items. So I'd recommend buying them if you're a pay to win player and you'd like to get a RNG or random crate when you're around like 60, 70, you're gonna do shadow or something. I'd personally stay away from them, but it's fine. So, looking at the store now, diamonds are the paid currency in the game. So the only way you can get them is by beating dungeons on their initial rewards or by paying. Those are the two only current ways you can get them. Additionally, there's special items which you can see in there, or as I will show you now in your item slot. There is an experience badge and a coin magnet, which just increases my EXP and gold by 5%. So the gold scales by your level and your general gold like output you get. I don't know if based on the time, but that is how the amount of gold is like determined. I don't really know what else to talk about here because that's all there is to it. You can buy chests here, and chests, depending on your level, cost various amounts. Right now, every chest is 25 for me due to how I'm level 105, and this was it like that, 104. So once you hit level 104, that is when everything will be 25 and you won't actually need it. So, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the classes in the game. Right now, there are only 3 technical classes, which is melee, ranged, and magic. Now, mages are pretty much meant to be the main DPS unit. They have some of the best damage output, even, well, not anymore, thanks to this update, which makes them pretty much futile now. But mages are meant to be a DPS unit, whereas archers are meant to be overall balanced, with warriors being more of a tanky one. At least that's how it's kind of shown so far. If you go over to your heroes page, you can see the different abilities. A mage will have Ice Barrage and Rejuvenate. So for dungeons, you should use Rejuvenate, as you will get much further than you would using Ice Barrage, since you can heal your tanks, and then your tanks can heal themselves with Reinforce. It's a very useful tactic. As for warriors, I've just shown Reinforce, which is ability which gives you a shield, and Assault, which is an ability you shouldn't necessarily touch because it's quite useless in my opinion. And then last, for archers, their power shot ability, which is extremely overpowered and should be nerfed. Cough cough, please nerf this ability like a lot. And volley, which is generally not as good and quite buggy to some people. So I would probably, I mean, it's better to have a balance of your characters in terms of trying to upgrade and doing different stats. At least that's how I've got mine done, because I'm kind of so rich that I can do that, but that's a subtle flex, don't mind that. More overall, you should try to focus on your gear first in your characters, because gear is what warrants bigger change than your stats and abilities. you should upgrade your gear before you try to upgrade your individual mercenaries. So, to now talk about the meta build. The meta build in All About Us Online is as shown this build here. Now, 3 warriors, 2 mage, and warriors are shields, 0.5, 0.6, well now it's 1.25 hits a second, but it's 0.8 hits, like every 0.8 seconds every hit. This is the ideal build for progressing as far as you can in dungeons and having a lot of dominance in arena also. Now, the reason why the formation is as it follows, you can either just do this, maybe have these at the bottom, it doesn't matter, but you should have your mages right next to each other and your warriors right next to each other, right at the back. This is because the warriors will run in front of the mages and they'll take any damage that might hit them, and then they will go on to get charged before they've even attacked, which is a good thing because then they can use their reinforced ability, which takes 15 charge to actually even activate, which is insanely high. Generally, I would probably keep 0.8 second weapons right now, though these two-handed weapons have become a lot stronger. So, and there still needs to be testing exactly which is better, but in my opinion, I think this is better with a shield if you're trying to tank, since it's a tank unit, it's not meant to be a melee or war, like, it's not meant to be a melee or attack unit. So, that's kind of talk about the first meta build. Just go through it again. The warriors will confront the mages, they take the damage and stall the other team from trying to hit the mages. You'll win people that are lower than you and equal to you, but higher than you will get stomped on because gear makes a massive difference in your ability. And for dungeons, the monsters can do different damages to your mercenaries, sometimes big and small. It's better for you to heal your warriors and kill them and let the warriors kill the enemies whilst being healed and reinforce and rejuvenate. So, in my opinion, as you go to upgrade, you should always focus on the mage's weapon because this is the biggest damage. This is one of the biggest game changers, and the warrior's armor. So, as you can see here, if we just go to, where is it? There it is. Ultimate armor. Ultimate 4 is the best chest so far, and as you can see, the biggest change is with the chest plate and then the shield. So, in my opinion, you should always go for the armor and then go for the helmet before the shield, because you're pretty much overpaying a bunch for the shield, which is insanely stupid. You're paying way more for less, but it is essential either way. And that is it for the warriors, I guess. I mean, the first meta build. So, to go into the second build, which I will demonstrate with Tish's profile, it is a 4 archer 1 warrior build. Now this build is pretty good because archers are stupidly overpowered and they need to be nerfed. Please nerf them. Archers are generally good for PvP dominance. Their power shot ability is insanely broken and gives off an immense amount of damage. So if I just quickly simulate another fight, chances are I'm going to get beaten yet again because the damage that they output is too high to be really good. It's not really fair to the other builds. Yep, I'm getting stomped on right here. I'll be lucky to... Oh, no. I could actually win this. No, I've lost. So, yeah. This is pretty much the best build for, like, PvP dominance. Because Power Shot does, when it's upgraded, it does about 2.2 times more damage than an average hit. So it's about 4k damage per hit, and then 8k damage on a Power Shot. So you can pretty much instantly kill a warrior if you're lucky enough. And I personally find that extremely unfair, how they do more damage than mage and have more armor. It doesn't make sense for me. But hey ho, that's just how it is. And the formation that you should use, I'll just quickly go to it again. You should have your warrior at the very back and your archers at the very front, right next to each other. This allows the archers to set up their position and allows the warrior to attack and get the attention of the two warriors, allowing one warrior to be killed by the archers and the other warrior to be slowly picked off. Now, I've fought Tisha like 3 times and I've lost every time because honestly, archers are stupid overpowered, isn't even enough. But generally, I think that yeah, that's the best build. You should have a PvP, and it only works against this build. At least so far, it only works against this build here. So that's a general run through of arena and dungeon. Um, if anything can be, explained better, please feel free to ask questions in the comments. Anything you might want to know how to progress. That's all there really is to it. It's just run through the fastest progression you can go. You should always start off at the dungeon, progress through the 5 dungeons where you can. Once you progress through the 5 dungeons, you should go to the shop. You should upgrade your mercenaries to how you want. I suggest doing 3 warrior 2 mage at the start and the middle game, so you can go through dungeons as far as possible, and then switch to archers later on when you're higher. So that'll be the end of the video right now. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I did try my best to, do kind of an explaining video in depth about different aspects of the game and how they can, be improved. I mean, how you can improve yourself in the games. And I'll see you in the next video.